okay? People become like their leader, and we attract who we are. We attract who we are. So when I learned the personality assessments that you guys are going to learn tomorrow, or relearn, you already learned, you're going to. And I learned this. I looked around, and most of my top leaders were just like me. They had my personality type, because we attract. You're attracted to that personality type. So I had to start restructuring my business to make sure that I had all 4 personality types, and we did the same with leadership types as well. Because if you're all the same thing, you're not going to reach as many people and get as much done. Okay? So people do become like you. Like who you are, and you do attract those. But as a well-rounded leader, you want to have all types of people around you. Okay, your circle. Okay, so we attract who we are. Lessons to be learned from this is it will take a conscious effort to appreciate and attract people who are different than the leadership. It takes intention. It takes a conscious effort to appreciate and to attract people who are different from their leadership. In other words, we attract people who complement, remember, our weaknesses. We want to attract people who complement our weaknesses. And we're going to talk again about personality plus tomorrow. But diversity is really a good thing. It's not a bad thing. If structured properly, it's a good thing. Number 2 is that people tend to have the same strengths and weaknesses of their leadership. Okay, that's true. The people tend to have the same strengths and weaknesses of their leadership. And this is huge as it relates to blind spots. We've got to know this because we need balance. We need balance. And then the third lesson to be learned from this particular reflection that people become like a leader is the leadership of the organization must change before the people. Okay? So if I'm the leader of my organization or my church, I've got to change first. Okay? And then remember, people do what people see. People do what people see. Okay? So, change, we talked about this yesterday, or day before. Change is not a bad thing. I know many of us, particularly leaders, don't like it, unless it's our idea. But change is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And so when I learned this, I saw as a leader I had to change myself and how I thought about different personalities, different leadership styles, and I had to make some changes in order for us to grow, okay, and accomplish our goals. So this is very important. Just remember this reflection, because again, you will see it again. The people see, people do what people see. Okay? All right, ready for reflection number 2? Reflection number 2. Leading others takes courage. Leading others takes courage. And I'm here to tell you, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. Particularly when you are surrounded by other strong leaders. It takes courage to make some of the decisions that that you have to make, choices that you have to make. So, knowing the right decision is easy, okay? But making the right decision is hard. Knowing the right decision is easy, but making the right decision is hard. How many of you just, in whatever you're leading or doing, you've known that you needed to make a decision, but it was hard and you didn't make it? Am I the only one? All right, we got to go. Okay. Yeah, it's hard. And then you get where you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Maybe they got a whole family that comes to your church. Talking about 25 people. And if you make a courageous decision and they all leave, I mean, but if it's the right thing, with God directing you, the Holy Spirit leading you at the right time, it's always going to turn out okay. This reminds me in our business, as we're trucking along, working on accomplishing our goal, we had one of the top producers in my organization was recruiting, which was against the rules, recruiting people from our organization into another business. Wow. And it was against the rules even to do that. And when I found out, I went to the person and I addressed it with her. And again, she's a top producer. All right. And I told her that it was against the rules and that I didn't appreciate her doing it. And did she know that it was against the rules? And she said she did, but she was still doing it. And so I asked her to stop, and she didn't stop. So I called the president of our company and asked her to be terminated. And she had a lot of relatives in our business. She'd gotten a lot of people in our business. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew it was the right thing and she was doing the wrong thing. And I addressed it with her and got her out. She didn't talk to me for a number of years. She lived right near where we live. She didn't talk to me, but now, you know what? I think now she respects me. Now she has a store now and doing great. She's still a producer. She's a great businesswoman. But I think now we have a good relationship. We can talk and, we get along fine now. And I think if you ask her, she would say, I respect the fact that you addressed it with me. Now the time's passed. But here's the most important thing. Our organization really appreciated it. That our team respected me for having the courage to stop her from doing what she was doing. Was it easy? No, not at all. But it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do and took care of it. Yes, Nathan?
I just wanted to say that this is one of the problems we pastors face. Because sometimes you can see, for example, you have maybe 200 people. Maybe there is a key leader who is very influential, maybe in the position of an econ, or maybe an elder, or a departmental leader, maybe the person who leads the women department.
Right.
And you know for sure most of the trouble which is in the church.
Right.
To solve it, you need to stop her.
Yeah.
And this is very influential. There's many people who are here around him,
Yeah.
and they know that this will not be popular.
Yeah.
And you can see, allow it to continue, the church is going to be in a mess.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is a hard decision.
It is a hard position, but if it's the right thing to do, you know God is going to turn it into something good. Now, it may not be good for a little bit, but God will turn it into something good. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing that. Okay, so lessons to be learned from this reflection, that leading others takes courage. First of all, a leader is responsible to place the interests of the organization first. A leader is responsible to place the interests of the organizations first. So when Paula was talking about some people that were taking advantage of him, his first responsibility is the organization. Now, I'll tell you, as a leader and as a born-again Christian, I try to counsel with the person first. I try to help the person. Because for me, it's about the person and the organization. The person and the business. So if I can work and get both of those, meshing, then that's a good thing. But if, like the example I just gave you of the lady, I met with her, talked to her, and she wasn't changing, then the team is the most important thing. So I had to get rid of her. And so a leader's first responsibility is the interest of the organization. But if we can work with the individual, I think that's important as well. Okay? Oops. The second lesson to be learned from this particular reflection, leading others takes courage, is that each courageous call required much time, energy, and prayer. Amen. Required much time, energy, and prayer. And this is so important. Number 3, each courageous call demanded risk. Just like Pastor Nathan was just saying. It's risky. It's risky. But if it's right, then it's right. But there is risk always involved in making a courageous call. Each courageous call, number 4, each courageous call was questioned and criticized. Okay? Each courageous call was questioned and criticized. When you make a courageous call, just know you ain't going to get no standing ovation. All right? Just know that. If people aren't going to like it, but at least you can go to bed that night knowing in your heart that you made the right decision, the right choice. Okay? Number 5, another lesson that we can learn from leading others takes courage is that each courageous call costs me greatly. Each courageous call costs me greatly. John said that he always paid a price when he had to give up something. And then number 6, the final one, each courageous call lifted me to a higher level. Each courageous call lifted me to a higher level. Because when I made that courageous call with the person that I was telling you about, the rest of the team respected me even more. And that lifted me up in their eyes as a leader. that Marcia is not going to put up with this, and she will do something about it. And I think it taught them a lesson not to go do that. You know, not to go do that. So, when we make tough calls, we do get a breakthrough. There is a breakthrough in our organization. You just got to get through it, and God will help you get through it. But you just got to get through it. This was interesting. That most, yes, sir, Daniel.
Is the call referring to decision or is it just US confrontation?
I'm asking,
Which one?
the tough call, is it referring to just maybe confronting, or is it also referring to decisions, tough decisions?
I can't understand the last part of what you're saying, I'm sorry. My hearing's bad. Oh.
Are you, by the tough call, are you referring to decisions, tough decisions that you have
Decisions.
in an organization, or is it confronting people with challenges?
No. It's making the tough call, but many times when we have to make the tough call, we've got to confront. And who likes confrontation? There's one personality that kind of does. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But most people don't like confrontation, you know? But that's not reality, right? That's not reality. So good question, Samuel. So most decisions that a leader has to make are not difficult. Actually, the research shows that 95% of CEOs, presidents, owners of their company, the decisions are not that major. But 5% are where the tough calls are. The major decisions that we make. And that's why they make the big bucks. You know, because they have to make the 5% of the tough calls. Okay. So, leadership is difficult. People are not necessarily ready for it. But we have to do it anyway. How are we doing on time? Huh? How many minutes? Oh, we did, okay, all right, good. Let's move right along then. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so reflection number 1, what was it? People become like their
Leaders.
And the second reflection, leading others takes courage. Okay. So reflection number 3 is that team leadership is more effective than individual leadership. Team leadership is more effective than individual leadership. And this is so important. If I could do one thing for you today, it would be for you to focus in on this reflection about teamwork and team leadership. It is so important. One of the greatest joys in my leadership on my team was when I learned what you're about to learn and I started applying it. Because like I've said, but I'll say it again because it's so important. Once I learned about team leadership, I had been doing everything myself, basically. And when I learned about team leadership and let others lead where they were attend, if you will, and sat down, it empowered them. It encouraged the team, and secondly, it took a lot of work off of me. And it made us a more effective team. So I can't stress this this reflection enough. So, in John's book, there's a great book that he wrote. If you have a team and you want to learn how to work together better as a team, it's called The 17 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork. Okay? Our team actually did this as a training together, and we took a chapter and they read it and we worked through it every week. And so we all grew together as the same team, and it helped us hold one another accountable as well. Accountability is so important. And so in the 17 laws, I'm not going to give y'all 17 today, but I am going to give you 6. Okay? Okay, so in your book, the 17, it says laws of teamwork, but it's the book, I want you to know that it's called 17 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork. Is number 1 is the law of the Lone Ranger. The law of the Lone Ranger. Have y'all ever heard of the Lone Ranger? Yeah. And the law of the Lone Ranger says that 1 is too small a number to achieve lasting significance. Remember, significance is when you add value to others. So the law of Lone Ranger says that 1 is too small a number to achieve lasting significance. So quit trying to do it all on your own. Okay? Quit trying to do it all on your own. The law of the bench says that great teams have great depth. Great teams have great depth. You never know when God's going to call one of your team members off to do something else. So you always want to have someone on the bench, so to speak, that can come in and replace them if for some reason they leave or they're out, for sickness or whatever. You've got somebody on the bench that can come in and play that position on the team in those instances, okay?
Right.
So the law of the bench is that great teams have depth, okay? Then in that book also, John